Hello everyone, this is Visual Novel Gamer here, and I am back with a new game. It is Katawa Shoujo. I have never played it. I have heard of it though. I heard it's a game that no major company made. I heard it was made by the fans. By just random people made it. I heard it's a very good game and, well, I'm gonna start it right now. Let's go, right? In 3, 2, 1. A light breeze caused the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing underneath a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Hisao. I guess that's my name, Hisao. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the leather in the locker, but at least this shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall generally thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnated world. Their slow deceit upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me. Interrupting the quiet mood, someone is approaching me from behind. Hi, Sal, you came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice anywhere. I feel my heart skip a beat. The voice I listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. There I am, with the letter. Inako? I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result? Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a muscle, even if I tried. Uh-oh. My heart is pounding now, as if it was trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind swirls up the branches. The kind of nose is music to my ears. Inako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes locked with mine, and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxiety beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even first force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'll go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they're being stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but this only sends sparks of binding pain along my arms. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Is my guy having a heart attack? Did he just have a heart attack? From being asked out? It's how? The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky. Inako running towards me, all those fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Inako screaming for help and the incessant chatter of the branches above. My guy had a full-blown heart attack. Oh, sorry. That animation of the clock was really smooth for an old game. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. Yeah, my character had a full-blown heart attack. In that whole time, I could probably count the times I left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Oh, right, it? Arothantia? Arothantia. A strange word, a foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go this long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think they were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was filled with flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were generally concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had any visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Aniko was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonable and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'll be able to leave. He never answered anything straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgery work. So I idly absorb the scar that those surgeons had left on my chest, slowly changing its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffled around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I just didn't feel like it. Just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism from my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the school, although it was like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. Sorry, I needed a drink. I found that I like reading, and I think even became a bit addictive. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I love the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to diagnose from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mess I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I paused in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalantism I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he is trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is this ritual that the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers and setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to me. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisao. How are you doing today? How are you today? I didn't answer him, but I smiled a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? This absurdly long list of medicines staring back at me from the page seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, continuous and doses are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it, attempting to only make me feel sicker. All of this, for the rest of my life, every day. I'm afraid that is the best we could do at this point. However, new medication are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. What kind of confidence booster is that? I have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever are my concerns shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is stable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamako Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What am I? It has 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes away from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on that campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence. It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it really was that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go. But your mother and I really aren't able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think I'll like it. Looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue to develop your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the change to go back to school. I remembered you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one. A special school, that is. An insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of that school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't need to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. That's actually really impressive. Because you never let your disability stop you. I was in those special classes growing up. I had a very bad reading thing. I don't know what it was called or anything, but it made me reading stuff even harder than the average person. That's why I started a visual novel channel, so I could read better, do all that stuff, even though I have already graduated and all that. I believe this will help me more since I'm not in school anymore, and I don't like really reading books. I like this more. He's absolutely correct, though. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring. But now, I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I could go back to my school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know now it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospitals, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. This is all I could think of to get me through this. At least I have something, even if it's a special school. It's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It will be a mistake just to resign myself to thinking. Think of that. Absolutely correct. Just because you're going to a special school doesn't mean your life is over. Doesn't mean, even this heart condition that my character has, it doesn't mean his life is over. It's a little bit more difficult now. I'll give you that, but it's not over. He just has to push himself a little harder to keep everything as it was before, basically. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. See? As long as you have a positive spin on it, you can make it work. Act 1. Life expectancy. That's cool. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wonder if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaguchi Academy with this brisk pace. I alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have. More like a park with a clean walkway, going past trees, and the smell of fresh cut grass, and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pops into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off, stayed open-minded now. It's your new life, you have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom briefly behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many just for a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought about schools. It's an uncanny valley, even though I was told this is my new school. In the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind, and the green hues flashing all around caught my attention. It makes me think about the hospital again, how they say the operation rooms are painted green because green is a common color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? ... Only after I stand in front of the haunted, hugely main building, I surprised myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous and with this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Nakai? Nakaya? So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom teacher and science teacher. My name is Muto? Muto, I think, yeah. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy. He looks at his watch. The head nurse asks you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost missed what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? And I'm gonna save right here since it's an option. And I'm gonna pick, of course, yeah. I moved around a lot and I always introduce myself, so why not? Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I hesitated for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Ah, get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point to wondering so much about it. At least not this soon. Oh, they actually drew everyone. This is cool. Something about her hand. Can't tell. She's missing a hand. Can't tell. He's missing an ear, I think. Can't tell. I see a little bit of burn on her hand. He's blind, I'm assuming. Who's this monster in the background? He looks... He's great. She's looking right at him, too. These two. I guess... Her, him. Her and her are the main girls, I assume. Maybe. He's probably a friend or something, I don't know. Since they're the only ones with really outgoing hair. Oops, sorry. It's pretty spacious. Sorry. I followed the teacher into the classroom and look around, peculiarly, so I won't have to meet the curious gaze of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's a lot of space over, around, and in between the desks. An entire wall takes up by blackboards, and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The student desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books, and wooden chairs with metal frames, simple and effective. I stopped walking in front of the classroom and faced the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school, but then why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. I noticed that one of the girls seemed to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendencies to listen when someone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. This guy's a freaking beast. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long, straight hair. It's pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. Oh, she's missing her legs. There is one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. I'm assuming that's her, since she's the only one with glasses I saw. The only girl with glasses, at least. She's kind of cute. So is the cheery-looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. Yep, I was right. It's her. It's these two he's talking about, okay. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her at the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands and so does everyone else except one girl in the front row who only has one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for the applause I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Nikai, and after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every induction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied with what little I said, though a few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. It could have gone worse. ... I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along with while letting my gazes sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again. Feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with her hand against her other wrist, then ends in a bandaged stump. It makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You go work with Hanamuchi. She is the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know. And who else would be able to do that? Would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It's hit me that I don't know who Hanamuchi is. Slow, the teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hanamuchi is there. Is right there. Saini Hanachi. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hanamuchi, right? It's nice to meet you. Wahahaha! What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but... I'm not Hanamuchi, I'm Misha. This is Hanamuchi Sachi? Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language. Before, it looks like she has been staring at me the whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledged my presence, but only barely. She has short yet careful and neat brush hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of a dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seems to alternate every few seconds between analytic and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. ... She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hanamuchi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, "You'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you." That really did seem like he was messing with me, since she's deaf. I can see you're a little confused, right? But I understand why you think I was Sachin. Sachin is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you too. ... You're the new student, right? Well, Sachi, of course he is. If he wasn't, he would have been standing up there for no reason, right? He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today so soon. Hanachi, right? Hanachi. Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Do I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits! You look just like I imagined. Dot dot dot. Haha, yeah, you look just like a Hanchi. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Dot dot dot. Hanamuchi taps her fingers on the table to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. C-chan wants you to know that she's the class representative. So if you have anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Dot dot dot. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had time to walk around and familiarize with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluent translation. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight to class today. Dot dot dot. Ha! That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with the school, not just with school either. Anyways, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, C-chan? Ha 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 ha! Learn about where you're going? I guess I didn't bother to do that, or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along half-assedly, but anyway. I don't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? It seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over in my chair. Both of them were smiling, but that smug hit me unexpectedly deep. You look down. Are you okay? Dot dot dot. Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test. Wahahaha. Oops, sorry. Alright. Dot dot dot. Ah, and another thing, you don't have to call C-chan something so formal like Hanamuchi or class rep all the time. Just call her C-chan. Dot dot dot. Ah, okay, that's too casual. Maybe Shimmer would be more appropriate. Dot dot dot. Yep, Shimmer is fine. Huh, okay, that would be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier about C-chan, who I assume will be all business. Well, she seems like that, just less so, I guess. Dot dot dot. Huh? Oh right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now, or C-chan will get mad. The assignment is kinda long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. Wahahaha, that too. Dot dot dot. Shimura glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. Dot dot dot. After class, we could take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, too, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of both being difficult and unnecessarily long. I think that's a good place to finish it just for today. I'd say this was a pretty successful first episode of Katawa Shoujo, and if you like, I'll continue it. If you comment, I'll be very happy. I hope you subscribe, like, comment. Just tell me how your day's going. I like the story so far. It's completely different from what I expect. And well, this has been Visual Novel Gamer here. Peace out and see you next time. Goodbye.